What's up, fantasy managers? Welcome back to another episode of the First Pitch Podcast brought to you by PitcherList.com. My name is Jake Crumpler, and I'll be your host for this edition of the pod. You can follow me on socials at Jake Crumpler and can find all of my work at CrumplerBaseball.com. Let's dive into everything baseball related from Tuesday, August 25th. We'll start it off, as always, with the transactions, injuries, news, and notes from around the league, kicking things off with the bad news as starting pitcher Shane Bieber was placed on the 15-day IL with a teres major strain. It's been labeled a mild to moderate strain, so Bieber will be shut down from throwing for 2 weeks, which means he's going to miss at least 3 weeks and probably 4 weeks, which puts his season in jeopardy. So Shane Bieber could be out for the rest of the season. Simeon Woods Richardson could enter the rotation, transitioning from the bullpen to the rotation for the Blue Jays, and reliever Chad Dallas was recalled for the minors in a corresponding move. Next, shortstop Mason Wynn was placed on the 10-day IL with a thumb fracture. The Cardinals don't expect Wynn to miss an extended period of time, but I'd expect him to be out at least longer than the minimum 10 days as he recovers from this thumb fracture. JJ Weatherholt will shift from second base to shortstop for the Cardinals, as Jose Fermin will be the Cardinals' everyday second baseman moving forward. Third baseman Nolan Gorman was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move, and he'll be on the strong side of a DH platoon with Blaze Jordan, who seems to have vacated the hot corner for Ramon Urias to play there every day. Next, closing pitcher Pete Fairbanks was placed on the 15-day IL with medial nerve irritation. He has Raynaud syndrome, so this is likely a flare-up of that. So this is a recurring thing that happens a couple of times a year. Fairbanks should be back in the next couple of weeks to return to being the Marlins closer. But in the meantime, there's going to be a whole host of options in Miami to close out games. Calvin Fauché, Michael Peterson, Tyler Zuber, and Josh Eknes could all contribute in the ninth inning for the Marlins. Reliever Dax Fulton was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move. Next, reliever Huascar Brazoban was placed on the 15-day IL with a lat strain. Reliever Jonathan Cannon was recalled for the minors in a corresponding move. And lastly, starting pitcher Carson Whisenhunt was placed on the 15-day IL with a torn UCL. Whisenhunt is obviously done for the year. After that injury, surgery has been recommended for the young southpaw, and if he does elect to undergo surgery, that would knock Whisenhunt out for the 2027 campaign as well. Big blow for the Giants. Matt Tugboat Wilkinson could come back from the minors to rejoin the rotation. He's the only starter on the 40-man roster in the minor leagues right now, so that's their best bet, unless the Giants want to go with some bullpen games. They have plenty of guys in the bullpen who can throw multiple innings, including reliever Spencer Bivens, who was recalled for the minors in a corresponding move. And in terms of transactions, shortstop J.P. Crawford was activated from the 10-day IL after missing about 3 weeks with wrist inflammation. Crawford will return to being the Mariners' everyday third baseman, with Brock Rodden sticking at shortstop. Third baseman Leo Rivas was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move. Next, we have outfielder Sal Frelick, who was activated from the 10-day IL after missing over a month with a shoulder strain. He did not start in his return because the Brewers were facing a lefty, so that suggests that Frelick will be on the strong side of a right field platoon with Luis Lara. Garrett Mitchell could also see some less playing time as he's forced to split time occasionally with Lara in center field. The Brewers are going to do everything they can to get Luis Lara into the lineup, but these pair of lefties in the outfield, Frelick and Mitchell, are likely to be limited against left-handed pitchers. Second baseman Jonathan Ornelas was designated for assignment in a corresponding move. Next, starting pitcher Tyler Glasnow was activated from the 15-day IL to start in Atlanta after missing nearly 4 months with back spasms. In Atlanta, Glasnow tossed 5 innings, allowing 6 hits and 3 earned runs, walking nobody while striking out 7, inducing 15 whiffs with 28% CSW across 89 pitches. And Glasnow's stuff looked great, and he threw plenty of strikes, but a 4.29 BABIP and a 50% left on base rate made his line look worse than he actually performed. He should pitch at or near an ace level the rest of the way, just what the Dodgers need. Reliever Paul Gervais was recalled for the minors in a corresponding move. Next, catcher Hunter Goodman was activated from the 10-day IL after missing the minimum time with a shoulder strain. He'll return to being the Rockies' everyday catcher, as Brett Sullivan will return to being the backup backstop. Catcher Braxton Fulford was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move. And lastly, in other Rockies news, starting pitcher Mason Adams had his contract selected from the minors to make his MLB debut in our nation's capital. Adams tossed 4 innings, allowing 3 hits and 1 run, walking 3 while striking out 5. He induced 7 whiffs with 29% CSW across 75 pitches. And Adams showcased a 93-mile-per-hour four-seamer with just 11 inches of IVB, but with 6.7 feet of extension and 1.0 HAVA, stemming from a flat 21-degree arm angle. That fastball isn't awful at 11 inches of IVB. It did lead his arsenal with 3 whiffs, but he struggled to command it, which is 50% strikes on the heater. In concert with a curve and a sweeper, as well as a changeup and a sinker, Adams has a deep arsenal, but pitching for the Rockies is a death sentence. I don't think this is a guy that's going to be fantasy relevant. Reliever Blake Adams was optioned to the minors in a corresponding move. And in terms of news, starting pitcher Luis Perales is expected to have his contract selected from the minors today to pitch in bulk relief of Matt Waldron versus the Rockies. Perales is a 23-year-old right-handed pitcher who is the Nationals' number 12 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline. He was acquired from the Red Sox in exchange for Jake Bennett over the offseason in a trade that seems to be working out for both sides. Perales has a 70-grade fastball, but he has absolutely no command. He had a 3.64 ERA and a 1.30 whip at AAA, striking out just 24% of the batters he's faced with a 13% walk rate. So we'll see how much he battles his control in his debut, but he definitely has exciting stuff. It just might be something that's destined for a relief role. Now we can take a look at our notable performances from Tuesday, a day in which we had a full slate of 15 games. We'll start it off with our hitters, leading off with catcher Yainer Diaz, who helped the Astros to win in the Bronx, going 3 for 4 with 3 runs, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, and a walk for good measure. He's up to 10 homers on the year now. The first one went 383 feet at 100 miles per hour, and the second one went 356 feet at 99 miles per hour. Yainer Diaz has declined each year since he's been in the majors, debuting with a 127 WRC plus and falling to an 86 mark this year. But he worked towards reversing that trend with a multi-homer game that could boost his WRC plus over last year's 92 mark. Unfortunately, we can't expect a lot of that moving forward. Diaz's StatCast metrics aren't rosy, with a career low 6% barrel rate and 35% hard hit rate. He's hitting way too many ground balls, which prevents him from regularly tapping into the power that made him a 2-time 20 home run hitter throughout his career. Diaz's contact metrics are outstanding, so if he can marry that with more fly balls, he could be one of the better offensive catchers. But right now, Diaz has got a clear area he needs to work on improving, and that's lifting the ball. Next, we have catcher Mickey Gasper, who helped the Red Sox to win in Miami, going 2 for 2 with 2 runs, 2 home runs, 2 runs batted in, and 2 walks. All the twos there for Mickey Gasper. He was at DH, so he didn't have the 2 next to his position, though. But he's up to 5 homers now. The first one went 394 feet at 103 miles per hour, and the second one went 418 feet at 102 miles per hour. And I wrote off Gasper's run of 3 straight games with a homer as an aberration, but he hasn't slowed down since, belting 2 more homers on Tuesday, and Gasper's now batting .476 with 5 homers in 8 games since returning from the minors. It might be worth riding out the hot streak until it ends. I don't see why you wouldn't give that an opportunity, especially if you need some help in the catching department, but without the batted ball metrics to back it up, and the instability of Gasper's role with the imminent return of Roman Anthony, Gasper's hot streak seems pretty tenuous. And lastly, we have second baseman Vaughn Grissom, who did all he could, but the Angels lost to the Guardians. He went 2 for 5 with 2 runs, 2 home runs, and 3 runs batted in. He's up to 9 homers on the year now. The first one went 389 feet at 102 miles per hour, and the second one went 385 feet at 105 miles per hour. Grissom has quietly had a minor breakout season, but it's gone under the radar, not only because it's been a league average breakout, he's still only got a 699 OPS, but also because his hot streaks have been interrupted by injuries or inconsistent playing time. It seems like every single time he's about to break out into the mainstream, he either hits the IL or the Angels decide to switch things up and reduce Grissom's playing time. I think next year could be the true breakout for Vaughn Grissom, but he's done everything you want to see from an improving hitter this year. He set a new career max exit velocity at 110 miles per hour. He's sporting a career high 37% hard hit rate. He increased his bat speed more than 2 miles per hour to 71.3 miles per hour, and he's pulled the ball in the air more than ever. Grissom has elite contact ability and has displayed 20 plus homer potential thus far with triple position eligibility. I think that'll be a guy I'm watching in deep leagues during next year's draft season, as long as the Angels don't overload their infield in the offseason. But if you'd like a breakdown of other notable hitting performances from Tuesday, check out the daily Batters Box article over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the mound and check out some notable starting pitching performances, opening with Taj Bradley in Sacramento, as he did all he could, but the Twins lost. He tossed 6 2/3 innings, allowing 7 hits and 4 earned runs, walking 1 while striking out 11, inducing 21 whiffs with 41% CSW across 99 pitches. And Bradley earned the golden goal by tying for the Gallows pole with a MLB lead, tying 21 whiffs, and he led baseball with 41% CSW to earn the King Cole. And I always say when it comes with Bradley, he will succeed if he throws his main trio of pitches, the four-seamer, cutter, and splitter, for at least 60% strikes each, and 65% plus is preferred. Well, on Tuesday, they each eclipsed 70% strikes, propelling Bradley to a dominant performance in which he induced at least 6 whiffs with each of his main offerings. His bouts of control issues haven't been as pronounced as they were in years past, allowing him to have this breakout campaign. And I can't say I'm convinced he's completely shaken the concerns about his control issues, but as long as he keeps throwing strikes, Bradley's going to be pretty dope. I'd start him versus the Tigers next. Next, we've got George Kirby versus the Phillies. He helped the Mariners to win, tossing 7 2/3 innings, allowing 6 hits and 1 run, walking 1 while striking out 9. He induced 21 whiffs with 36% CSW across 92 pitches, and he tied with Taj Bradley for the Gallows pole by leading baseball with 21 whiffs. Kirby has been so frustrating this year, rarely using his elite control to its maximal effect. Despite throwing plenty of strikes, he doesn't locate pitches where he needs to. It's been unclear if that's an ability thing or a game plan issue, but either way, he figured something out on Tuesday. It wasn't against right-handed batters, though, as he only faced a couple of them, but his four-seamer destroyed left-handed batters. It lived upstairs with an extra tick to sit 98 miles per hour and induce 12 whiffs with 44% CSW, while curveballs, sweepers, and changeups fell below the fastball to combine for 8 whiffs and 29% CSW. I'm not sure we can expect the fastball to perform as well as it did here every time out. He needs to command it perfectly upstairs and a little bit glove side to jam batters and get them to chase upstairs. And he also needs that extra tick of velocity if that's going to be the only pitch that he's truly dominating with. But we saw glimpses of this path to success at the end of 2025 for George Kirby, where he would just pump in fastballs upstairs and racking up double-digit strikeouts. And because of that, I'm willing to give him a chance to prove himself once again in Boston next. And lastly, we have Michael King, who did all he could, but the Padres lost to the Pirates. He tossed 7 shutout innings, allowing 5 hits and 2 walks while striking out 7. He induced 15 whiffs with 27% CSW across 98 pitches. And King hasn't displayed the strikeout potential that made him a borderline ace a couple of years ago, but he has gotten back to commanding well and producing great ratios as a result. It's a 3.23 ERA and a 1.17 whip on the season. He hit all 4 quadrants on Tuesday while throwing a tick harder to fan more than 6 batters for just the 4th time this year. Sinkers were strike machines. Four-seamers dominated with 7 whiffs upstairs, and changeups landed low and arm side to fool left-handed batters, while sweepers snuck into the zone to steal strikes. This is exactly what we want to see from Michael King, and it continues a great second half that has seen him produce a 2.83 ERA in 8 starts. It's all systems go in Cincinnati next for Michael King. But if you'd like a breakdown of every single start from Tuesday, give the Plus Pitch podcast a listen and check out Nick's daily SP roundup over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the bullpen and check out the relievers that got saves and the closers that pitched outside of save situations or blew their saves. Starting with the former, Kenley Jansen pitched a perfect ninth for his 17th save. Jordan Romano recorded his 13th save with a hitless ninth. Josh Hader pitched a perfect 4-out save for his 19th save. Raisel Iglesias recorded his 28th save with a scoreless ninth. Grant Taylor got the final out of the game after Hagen Smith walked the bases loaded for his 8th save. Cade Smith recorded his 35th save with a perfect 10th. Mason Montgomery pitched a hitless ninth for his 6th save. Elvis Alvarado pitched a perfect ninth for his 4th save, and Hogan Harris got the final 2 outs of the 7th in that one to record his 12th hold. Andres Munoz pitched a hitless ninth for his 24th save. And lastly, Carson Seymour worked around a solo shot for his 1st save. Dylan Smith was apparently unavailable. I don't think this is a change in the closer situation in San Francisco. Now we can take a look at the closers to pitch outside of safe situations or blow their saves. Steven Cruz allowed 2 runs, pitching the ninth up by 4 after the Royals tacked on an insurance run in the top half to ruin his save chance. Trevor McGill got the final out of the ninth, but he allowed the zombie runner to score in the 10th to take his third loss. Tanner Scott pitched the eighth in a tie game and allowed a run to take his fourth loss. Ben Joyce pitched a hitless 3-strikeout ninth in a tie game. Daniel Palencia allowed 3 runs, pitching the eighth up by 4. And then Jacob Webb allowed 2 runs in the ninth to blow his sixth save and take his fourth loss. Really tough situation for the Cubs right now. Justin Martinez pitched a scoreless ninth down by 1 and then took home his first win when the Diamondbacks walked it off. And Mason Miller pitched the ninth inning in a tie game and served up a solo shot to take his second loss of the season. But if you'd like more information on relief pitchers, check out Rick Graham's daily articles over on pitcherlist.com. And before we look forward to today's games, we're going to take a quick break. Now we can look forward to Wednesday, August 26th, a day in which we'll have a full slate of 15 games. My matchup of the day is Jesus Luzardo versus Brian Wu. Both of these guys have ace potential. Luzardo has pitched like one this year. Brian Wu did so last year. And I'm excited to see what they look like squaring off against each other in a pitcher's park in Seattle. In terms of probable starters, we've got 5 guys in the auto starts tier, including Luzardo and Wu. We've also got Troy Melton versus the Rays, Sonny Gray in Miami, and Sean Burke versus the Rangers. Our probably starts tier has 7 guys, and our questionable starts tier has 5, and that's where we'll find our streamer of the day. Actually, our streamer of the day is in the do not start tier. That's Connor Prelip in Sacramento. It's one of the toughest hitters parks. Prelip hasn't really had much support for his slider this year. However, if you're looking for strikeouts with risk to your ratios, Prelip might be your guy. I'd also keep an eye out for Randy Dobnak in Toronto. That Blue Jays offense is one of the worst in baseball. Dobnak has been on some weird hot streak this year where he's making it work. I don't think it's believable. It's not something I want to buy into. He's not going to give you strikeouts, but with a guy who's on fire facing a weak offense, if you're looking for a cheap win, Randy Dobnak could give you that. But both Prelip and Dobnak are in the do not start tier, so stream at your own risk. If you're looking for a pitcher with an opener, the aforementioned Luis Perales will be making his MLB debut behind opener Matt Waldron, and he gets Rocky Road in his debut. In terms of hitter suggestions, I target Tigers hitters versus Freddie Peralta in Comerica Park because Peralta has a 5.33 ERA on the season. I'd also target Guardians hitters versus Grayson Rodriguez in Angel Stadium because Gray Rod has a 6.41 ERA. I target Rockies and Nationals hitters in Nationals Park. Tanner Gordon has a 5.75 ERA pitching for the Rockies, and he'll square off against Matt Waldron plus Luis Perales, who's making his MLB debut, which are always tough, so we could see some fireworks there. And lastly, I target Twins and A's hitters in Sutter Health Park. We'll see Connor Prelip square off against JT Ginn in one of the best hitters parks in baseball. Now we can close things out with our relievers to watch. Cade Smith has pitched on back-to-back days and in 3 of the past 4, so Hunter Gaddis could be the best option for a save out of the Guardians bullpen. Mason Montgomery has pitched on back-to-back days, but so has Gregory Soto, so Luke Weaver should be the top option for the Pirates. And lastly, Mason Miller has pitched on back-to-back days and in 4 of the past 5, so one of Bradley Rodriguez or Jeremiah Estrada should be the temporary closer for the Padres on Wednesday. But that'll do it for today's episode of the First Pitch Podcast. Make sure to head on over to pitcherlist.com to check out all of the great articles and features we have on the site. Sign up for PL Plus or PL Pro to gain access to the Discord and to support the PitcherList staff. You can follow me on socials at Jake Crumpler, where I do daily SP streamers, and I break down every single start via the PitcherList Stats player cards. Tune into YouTube tomorrow and every day for a new installment of the podcast, and make sure to enjoy the day as we are blessed with another day of baseball.